Yes, over to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for bearing with me and listening to whatever nonsense I talk. So thank you very much for that. And before I start talking on this subject of preaching, today being Gita Jayanti, just at least for 5 minutes, we should talk about it. Because that's what we would be able to do a good justice also to Gita Jayanti. So today is the day when Krishna spoke on Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna some 5,000 years back in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this is considered to be a fight between the two family members. One is Kauravas, one is the Pandavas. And there is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is also that there is a fight between the demoniac and the divine forces. There is another way of looking at it also. And Krishna expands on it further and further and talks about divine and demonic qualities. Also in chapter 16, he does that. And very surprisingly, one will find that Krishna has dedicated only 2 or 3 verses for divine qualities. The rest of the chapter is dedicated for demoniac qualities. That shows how much of demoniac qualities all of us have. Actually, people in this world have. So Krishna has dedicated more on that. And this Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Krishna, through Krishna to all of us. It was spoken through Krishna to all of us. And this is the timeless wisdom, as it is called. And anyone who adopts it can make his life successful. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also that finally talks of Sarvadharman Pratyaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshesha Mashuchaha. Talks about it. And we in ISKCON are very, very fortunate simply because of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada took all the efforts to write down this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not his interpretation, but as it is. And in the introduction itself, he is talking of the 5 subject matters on which Prabhupada is discussing, namely Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, Karma, and Kala. And all the 5 are related to each other. And the most important thing Prabhupada has given us is to make us conscious or make us aware that all the living entities have got a relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is a very, very important point that Prabhupada has highlighted so well, and in the process he has blasted out those impersonalists and others who think that there is no relationship with the Supreme Lord. That's because of our nature in this material world. And we always expect the Lord to do something for us, and we have no responsibility to do so. It's simply like this, We have got in our country, Prime Minister Modi, and every citizen is expecting Modi to do something for us, for me. All the citizens are expecting that Modi should do something for us. But in return, what are you thinking of doing for Modi or for the country? Zero. No, that is not my responsibility. It is Modi's responsibility because he is a prime minister. So he has to do things. This is the same mentality we have towards Krishna also. Saying that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is supposed to take care of me. He is supposed to do everything. And if something goes wrong, I start blaming Krishna. Saying that what is it doing? Where is the God? People say God is there. So many people are poor. So many people are suffering that, this, and without realizing the aspect of the karma part, what Krishna has explained in Bhagavad. So, Prabhupada has given us this saying how Bhakti Yoga is the most critical, is a very, very important element which we have to adopt in our life. And through that only it is possible to approach Krishna and go back to God. Because as Simply as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, our duty is to serve the Lord. That we have to understand. I got my hand here. What is the duty of the hand? If my back scratches, the hand has to go back and scratch my back. That's the duty of this hand, right? Can the hand say, no, I will not. I've got nothing to do with you. You are a back. You scratch yourself. How will the back be able to scratch? No, the hand has got a duty to take care of this body, to do the seva for this body. Is it not right? Is it not like that? It's a duty of the hand to go back and do. There is a food. The stomach is asking for the food, and it is the duty of the hand to pick up that food and put it in the mouth, and it's the duty of the mouth to chew it, tongue to chew it and everything, and push it into the stomach, and through that energy can be supplied to all parts of it. This is how it is. So we can see all the different parts of our body are there. All the parts of the body have a duty to serve the. Similarly, they are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mamayvamsho jivaloke jivabhutas sanatana. So our job is to serve the whole. We are the part and the whole is the Supreme Lord, and we have to serve Him. This is the biggest knowledge given to us by Srila Prabhupada through his explanations, through his purports. Just how much of effort he has taken to do all these things and give us, so that the humanity at large will benefit. Just like Krishna sent everybody down to this material world and also gave Vedas so that people can benefit out of it and live happily. Similarly, what Prabhupada did was, Prabhupada wrote about it, wrote his Bhagavad Gita, explained his Bhagavad Gita, but he also created something, he also created a trust called BBT Trust, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust he created. So that all the books, whatever he is speaking, everything can be recorded and written in the form of letters in different languages and can be distributed, so that for time, for the generations to come, how many generations we do not know, for all the generations to come, the future, everybody will be able to benefit. Prabhupada has said that it will all last at least for 10,000 years, he has predicted. So we all live for about 100 years or 80 years, 60, 70 years, and then we vanish. But just imagine 10,000 years means how many people will come and go and how many will get benefit. So Prabhupada was very keen that his books, especially Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, should be distributed and make people aware and conscious of the benefits that they can get out of reading Bhagavad Gita, out of applying the principles of Bhagavad Gita in one's own life, and re-establishing the relationship with the Supreme Lord. And that's the only way one can make one's life successful. So this is, I'm just taking only 5 minutes to talk on this. That's enough, because we have to go to our main subject matter on which we have to talk. So totally, so far, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust has been able to distribute 60 crores of Bhagavad Gita worldwide. That's a big, big number, No other institution has been able to do it. And I also do not know whether this Gita Jayanti and Gita Jayanti is celebrated by many institutions, I know that. But whether on this day they take the effort of distributing Bhagavad Gita, which I'm not aware of, probably some of you may be aware of it, I've not heard so far. So, but Prabhupada has said that this day, this entire month, we have been given to distribute as many books as possible, and we do that only to please Srila Prabhupada and the entire Guru Parampara, going right up to Sri Krishna, because Krishna finally in Bhagavad Gita says that those who preach my glories, that is Krishna's desire, that his teaching should reach everyone. And if he can become foot soldiers in this process, in the entire movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that will definitely please Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the Guru Parampara, all our gurus. Many of you may be having, there may be many shishyas of different gurus in this in this group sitting. So it will please our gurus, it will please the Guru Parampara, Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So please, whatever best you can do to distribute the books, how much soever you can do, everyone should try and we should do. Thank you very much for this. Okay. So, Ramanda Prabhu, you want to say something?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for a nice message on occasion of Gita Jayanti. So we take it to the heart and we'll try to do our best to please our acharyas and the Supreme Lord by distributing the books of Srila Prabhupada. So now I request Grace VP Govinda Prabhu to take over from here and to anchor the session till end. VP Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Such a pleasure to have you back, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much.
Who is speaking? Oh yeah, Prabhu, okay.
Prabhuji.
Now I know. Yes, yes.
Hare
He's actually called.
I saw him acting.
Yeah.
He is a difficult customer, right?
Hare Krishna.
He's actually Parikshit Maharaj of our CC group, Chaitanya Charitamrita group. Is Parikshit Maharaj because he's very inquisitive and he asks so many questions, and that helps every member of the group to.
I know, and
people generally have a tendency just to hear but not to ask. That is a general tendency nowadays. But Prabhu is make sure to. He represents the whole group by asking questions, by taking out the real essence of the subject. He goes in deep and very inquisitive, and he asks so many questions. So Prabhu has he came forward to take this service. So I'm very happy that Prabhu actually very good anchor. He does a very good job as anchor.
If I'm not mistaken, Prabhu is the one who suggested this role play.
Exactly. He's the one.
And he also acted in that. I saw how he can be a difficult customer. He did that role. I saw that. Prabhu,
and Prabhuji
put difficult questions to me and put me in a spot.
He has a long list of weapons. He is sharpening for today's session. And Prabhuji is from London. He is in London, and every week he attends morning at that time at 4:30 on Saturdays. So, but he religiously attends. He hardly misses any program.
Okay. Behind you, this Ram Lakshman Janaki and Radha Krishna. Is it Radha Rasbihari or Radha Landaneshwar?
Radha Landeshwar Prabhuji. This is the deity lordship here in Bhaktivedanta Manor in London.
I have come there. I have seen. I've spent some time there, a few days.
Very well.
Radha Landaneshwari is from Soho, no?
No.
Soho Street.
Yes.
These are not
Radha Gokulananda. You're right, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes.
I was a bit confused. Radha
You're right.
Gokulananda.
You're right. Yes.
Yes.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Prabhu. So, take over from here. Now, all yours and Vaikunthapati Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, on behalf of the whole group, and obviously, if you got the chance of looking at the role play we did last week, so there were few devotees who acted, so thanks to them as well. And I hope other devotees who joined, they got some benefit out of it. But indeed, what we got here is a list of questions, Prabhuji, from that practice. And the whole play was split into 3 different groups. And it might make sense if we have those 3 groups when we ask the questions. So we know the questions are catered for the groups. So very briefly, the first group is where we are trying to preach to someone who is a very new devotee, who might not even know a lot about Gaudiya or might not know anything about ISKCON. Mostly these days, people know about ISKCON, back in India. But here in London, maybe people don't know about ISKCON at all. But somebody who is very new, and we are trying to get that person in our Bhakti rickshaw. That's the first one. Second one, who is very newly initiated person, and still find it hard to get time to come and attend Bhakti Vriksha. And then the third one is where somebody who is very experienced, who's been in the movement for very long, been a Siksha Guru for many, and almost has delivered all the services within the movement, but still find it hard to come for Bhakti Vriksha sessions. So these are three different groups, Prabhuji. So if you allow the very first group where somebody is very new, so the very first question is, Prabhuji, how to attract? And I could give you my own example. So every Saturday morning, we do it here virtually since COVID happened. And I invite friends to come and join. And when I had in person, they would love to come, they would love to join. And I'm a kind of person who always give benefit of doubt to others, that maybe the reason is very genuine, so they can't come for some genuine reasons, but how we can persuade them to realize that how important it is. So this attending Bhakti Vriksha will go higher in the priority list. That's the very first foremost thing, Professor. If you can enlighten on that, please.
Prabhu, you are on
Hare
mute.
Krishna,
Can't hear
Prabhuji.
you.
Prabhuji, you are on. You don't.
I've heard your question.
Haribo. Yeah, Prabhuji,
I've
sorry,
heard.
we could not hear you. We thought that you were on mute, but you're not. We can hear you. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
No, I have not started talking.
Haribo. Okay.
I'm going to start now. So before I start, can I request people to switch on their videos? Many of the videos are switched off. It will be nice, it will be a good encouragement for me also to look at some people and talk rather than just two or three. Okay. So the point is this, yes, there are many reasons why people are hesitant to join. One is that they don't believe in it. Number one. That could be. Number two could be they believe in it, but then they are a bit embarrassed, in the sense that if I go and attend here, what would my friends think of? Or what would my neighbors think of me? To put a tilak, etc. How will they perceive? Have you come across such a situation? Where people don't express that they are embarrassed, but then we can make out that they are a bit embarrassed to come and talk to us. Where I've come across such a situation where a person attends the class, and by the time anybody could move, he would run away from there. Not because of any reason, but he doesn't want anybody in the society to know that he's also coming and attending this class. And because he has got a lot of material things running in his head and all this things. Thirdly, there could also be another reason that he has still not become comfortable in that group where he's attending. So how to attract such persons? Purely by our Vaishnava behavior, we try to attract. In spite of that, there is no guarantee that he will come. One thing many of you would have witnessed is that a person comes, he attends for about 3 or 4 sessions, then he suddenly disappears. He says, hey, Prabhu, I will come, but he will never turn up. These things happen. So we have to see what we need to really do is establishing a relationship with that. Many times you find when we want somebody to attend, just one day before the class, we try to call him up and invite him. Or on the day of the class, we call him up and invite him. So our purpose is also only to invite him for that class, that's all. Not to build up a relationship. Krishna consciousness is much of a relationship. We are taught Krishna is saying that all of you have a relationship with me. Don't forget it. Even the Vaishnavas, all the devotees also have a relationship with each other. And that proper relationship we have to cultivate gradually. And it takes time. And once we really cultivate that relationship with that person, then only that person will also start. He will start feeling. Do not see, you are calling him one day before the class just to remind him that tomorrow is a class, or on the day of the class in the morning you are calling him because evening there is a class. But during the weekdays also, build up a relationship. And when you're building up that relationship, you are not talking only on Krishna or only on Bhagavad Gita or your Bhakti. Talk on other subject matters also, which will interest that Prabhu. That also can play a role. When I was doing it there, we used to have Friday programs, Saturday programs. Monday, Tuesday, I used to call these people and talk to them generally. So when you talk to them generally like that, that comfort level starts building up. You have to build that comfort level for everybody. And once that comfort level is there, he will come. And when he comes, treat him like any other attendee. Don't try to give over importance to that person because you are very eager that he should come and all this. Because that can also embarrass a person. So treat him like anybody else. Also ask him to sit like anybody else. Give him also prasadam like you are giving to others. That way he'll start feeling. Introduce him to others. Let him also start talking. Let others also do. And then it will.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So important.
Does it answer your question?
Prabhuji, there are follow-up questions with that.
Yeah, please.
And I will request all the devotees, if in case anybody at any point would like to add anything or would like to ask any follow-up question, I'm sure Prabhuji wouldn't mind. Either raise your hand like Ramanand Kanai Prabhuji has done it, or just send your message in the chat. So before I ask my follow-up question, I will request Ramanand Kanai Prabhuji, please.
Prabhuji, this concept of building relationship, is this only for the new devotees?
Can I just request VP Govinda Prabhu that whoever is asking that question, can you highlight him so that I will know who is talking and it will be easier?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, my question is that whatever you said, the building of relationship, yes, is very important for the new people. But the same will it be applicable for the senior devotees also? Because what happens, as we saw in the skit, the role play, what we did, sometimes the senior devotees, they refuse to take up services. And so is the relationship building is a problem there also? How to address this?
Relationship has to be at every level. See, at a senior level, for example, Guru Maharajas are there, right? So they are the senior most now for us here. Now, as a senior person, is it that Guru Maharaj doesn't talk to us or doesn't inquire about our spiritual welfare? And if someone is going through some material difficulties, doesn't he inquire about that material difficulties? So relationship is there for everybody. And what is it ultimately? It's our relationship with the Supreme Lord. No, Krishna is talking on relationship. Right? So that senior devotee, I will not go and talk, I will not talk to, I will not invite anybody. That is not a right approach. Then that means that person has to still understand Bhagavad Gita. That's also one more thing. We have to also accept a fact that not everyone is good in preaching activities. That also we should accept. He may be doing a lot of other sevas also, but he may not be good in preaching or inviting people. So in such a situation, we have to also give concession to such persons. Some may be very good in singing, some may be very good in preparing prasadam, but if you ask him to go and invite many people and bring, probably he may be a failure. So as a yatra leader or as a Bhakti Vriksha leader, we have to also recognize the different capabilities and abilities of different people and put them in that right slot.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Bol.
Okay.
I think Ramanandan Prabhuji is nodding happily. So I think that's good enough for Prabhuji for the moment. Prabhuji, before I go any further, there's a very basic question I would like to ask. And my questions are usually very fundamental. Maybe that's why they are hard to answer, like what Prabhuji was saying initially. But Prabhuji, I think before we do anything, it's very important to understand why we are doing it. So could you please highlight briefly, why do we need to preach? So it's not for others. Why do we need to preach as the preachers? What's the purpose behind it?
So what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter? Like in the Gita Jayanti talk, I said, Krishna desires that his message reaches everybody. That is his desire. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, 18.69, he's talking about it, saying that those who preach my glories, they are very, very dear to me. And he's taking care of us on doing all those things. And it's our duty also as Vaishnavas, as the devotees of Krishna, to share this happiness and the bliss what we are enjoying. Now, here there is a catch. When you say that I'm trying to share my happiness, there are also outsiders who say I'm already happy. So what is there more to happy? That also is possible. That question also people will ask, So that blissful situation, that blissful status, what we attain, that we genuinely desire that everybody should. And it so happens once you get into the movement and once you are started talking about Bhagavad Gita, it's very, very natural for us to go and talk to others also. Tell me one person in your group or anywhere who doesn't talk to others about Bhagavad Gita or about Krishna consciousness in this group. If there is anyone, let him put up their hand here. I challenge, once you enter into this Krishna consciousness, once you start talking about Bhagavad Gita, you can never stop. You can never resist yourself. You want to talk to everyone and preach Krishna consciousness. I had one guy with me and he was a big headache for me. You know why? Because he was preaching to these auto drivers. He was preaching to these other people also, like Muslims or everywhere. He used to go and preach to them also and ask them also to come and attend the programs. So I said, my dear, be careful. I don't mind you preaching to Muslims in a secular country. That's okay. But in an Islamic country, don't try to go and preach to Muslim and get into trouble. He was preaching to the locals also. Sometimes it can work. Sometimes it will not work. Once I called a sheikh, not in Qatar, but when I was in Mathura Desh, I was working in a company. I called my local Arab to come and he attended the program completely. And Vijay Venugopal Prabhu came and he addressed it. I called Vijay Venugopal Prabhu to come and address because I said that the Arab is coming. So I wanted to come and address. So Vijay Venugopal Prabhu himself was a bit scared, what should I talk because the local Arab is coming. But I didn't realize that it is very serious. I invited him and he came and attended. He attended the full program. He attended the full, but that is a risk. So we should be careful.
Hare Krishna.
So we preach for the pleasure of Krishna and that fulfill the desire of Krishna. And in the process, we also become dear to Krishna.
Very nicely summarized, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So in this category, Prabhuji, maybe just one last thing, that the main thing is Vaishnava behavior, which of course we can control. Now, how greatly, whether we can develop all the 26 qualities or not is a different thing, but we try based on our time, place, and circumstances, I guess. But the next thing you said, which I think Prabhuji picked up on as well, which is establishing relationship. Now, how far do we need to go in there? Of course, you were just mentioning about be sensible, I guess, whom you pray, whom you preach, and where do you preach. But keeping it very simple, establishing relationship. So, Prabhuji, I think we all have our own relatives, right? And if we ignore the relatives, even though we already have relationship with relatives, we don't have to establish relationship. We already have the relation with them. But never mind, leave them separate. Let's have close relationships where not that now we are about to preach and we need to make relationship. We have been in relationship with some core friends, 4 5 core friends for a long time anyways. And I'll give you again my example. I can give you the example of maybe 4 5 families here in London, and the kind of relationship we have with them, I can't even think of getting more relationship with them. So the guy goes out with me and will play cricket. The kids, they go out together, they play cricket, football, and have different play dates. The wives, they go out together and they go for the walk and they do all kind of different activities. I can't even think that what more we can do to have that relationship building, but still they won't come. Anything else more than that, Prabhuji, please?
You're absolutely right. My relatives don't attend. My brothers, my sisters, nobody attends. I also called them. They never. So that one thing we have to understand, people who are very close to us, they are the most difficult people also, as far as this is concerned. Similarly, none of my close friends, they attend this. They don't even visit. They visit ISKCON only for Govindas, not for anything else. So whoever is attending the programs are those whom I really do not know and with whom I have built up a new relationship, and they have all come closer to me. So like Prabhupada says, it's very unfortunate that people are not willing to take up Krishna consciousness, although they see there is somebody who is doing it. It has taken such a long period for me now to convince my sisters, my brothers. They're all pious. They believe in visiting temples. They go. My friends, they're all very pious. They also go to the temples. They visit all this. But Bhagavad Gita, they don't want to sit and listen. Probably somebody else, when somebody calls them, probably they will go there and they will have. But I being the closest for them, probably they have seen me right from my childhood. So probably they feel, what is he going to talk something more than what we do? There is one statement there is one saying in Tamil. In Tamil, the gist of the statement is something like this. It says, in the village in which you are born, never preach there. Nobody will accept it. It says that. Because in the village in which you are born, they have seen you right from your childhood when you were in your kopini. From that time, they have seen you, and they know you in and out. And they will always talk of the past and say that you are like this, you are like that, and now you have become like this. They will keep on quoting that. So that's why it says that do not preach in the village in which you are born. That's what it says.
That's why Srila Prabhupada went to America to start.
It gives it this connection. Let me complete this. In this connection, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj also said something. When you are inviting somebody, invite them 3 times. After the 3rd time, if they don't accept, then you look at somebody else. Because there are many neutral people, there are many favorable people around in this. Yeah, Prabhu.
25 years back, I was working in L&T, Prabhu. We are generations from L&T, Larsen & Toubro Limited. So I got opportunity, I worked there. And all were like my uncles and uncles. So I never grew there, Prabhu. I never grew in that in L&T until as my father was there. I forced after 6 to 7 years. I came out of L&T and I came to Gulf and I grew over there, Prabhu. This is true, Prabhu. You will not grow where you have played, where you say uncle and uncles there and whatever it is. It's very true, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
You're always a kid.
Yeah, always a kid. I cannot call sir nor uncle in the office. So it was and I never grew there and I had a very bad life over there.
Mm.
They will always address you as iska ladka hai. You will never have an identity over there, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is very true.
Yeah,
Thank
Ramant
you.
also wanted to say something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I was just looking if anyone else
Yeah.
would like to add anything to it.
JJD Prabhu, we can't see your face fully. Yeah? We are only able to see part of you. Yeah. Now. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, that building the relationship, I guess it could be hard as well, as you said, because obviously we said that we should build a relationship, but then the natural relationship we have with the relatives, we can't go there. The close friends, we can't go there. I think that puts devotees, especially the preachers, in a very hard spot. That if you will get too close with someone, then it's hard to preach. So maybe when we're building relationship, we have to keep a kind of sweet spot in between, that you need to be in the friend circle, but don't get too close. Otherwise, they will take you for granted. Is that true, Prabhuji?
No, it is not. You cannot avoid that closeness. It's very human nature. So if I like somebody, I'll definitely become closer to him. That cannot be stopped. So that will happen. But what can happen is that when they see that we are very genuine, very sincere, and there are so many people following, listening to us, gradually these people also come to us. That also happens. This has happened to me also. So, as I was telling, some of these relatives, they were not attending the classes and all these things. But now they've started chanting. Now they want to chant 16 rounds every day because they see I'm talking and there are so many people following, and they also hear from outsiders. Oh, this is your brother, huh? So he's talking. He's giving provision on Bhagavad Gita and we attend his class. That this and all. And they say, oh yeah, all of you are attending. So I will also attend. Let's also see what it is. So now they are stuck. Gradually, but it has taken 30 years.
Hare Krishna. All right, Prabhuji. Maybe 30 years later, we will see what happens. But thank you so much, Prabhuji. Now it's a good time to move to the second category, Prabhuji, keeping on time. Now the second category is where the devotees are initiated. And again, I can give the example of one of my Bhakti Vriksha member who is not initiated, but very close of getting initiated. But again, giving the benefit of doubt for genuine reasons. So in the first group where the members are very new, they give the reasons or excuses. So I do the session Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. And one of the answers I get it for the new devotees that it's too early. 9:30 a.m. is too early because it's a weekend and we don't even wake up sometimes by that. But that problem is not there when we are with a newly initiated devotee, because maybe they can't accept it, but they have other genuine reasons. For example, somebody needs to take their son to the sports class, which is happening from the school time, or maybe for a tuition because some of the exams are coming. Could be we have various exams at various levels here. So how to get them on board, because they know all the philosophy, they understand it's very important, but they have the genuine family commitments. How to get them on board, Prabhuji, please?
They have to be given some seva. I had this situation where one very senior, not I wouldn't say is a very initiated, also can say senior devotee was. His problem was he was very, very irregular in the programs, in the attendance. Somehow or the other he always had something or the other. Then I realized how to put this man on how to make him, because my concern was also that because he's attending so many for his son, for his daughter, for his wife, his office, that, this, and everything. Then I decided to give him some importance here. Like I will say that, Prabhu, on this day, Aarti, you have to do it. I will say. So Aarti, you have to do it means then he will say, okay, all right, Prabhu, I will come. Then he was making arrangement because he knew that he has to do the Aarti, so he was coming. That is an important seva, realist. Or I used to tell him, you have to give a class on this day. So please give the class. So, because your class is being appreciated by everybody. So he will come and do the class. And I also used to sit and listen to stuff. Every class I used to sit. It doesn't matter who is speaking. Because ultimately the subject matter is important. So I used to sit in every class and I used to listen to the class, irrespective of whether it's a junior person talking or a senior person talking. And that's something, that philosophy we should all imbibe, It doesn't matter who is speaking. It is a subject matter that matters. So we are listening the subject matter and not the person. So when I used to give that class, so he used to come. So, I was giving him some importance by which he was feeling that yes, he has to come. And if he's not able to come, he used to feel guilty about it, bad about it. I used to give him a call and say, Prabhu, really, I'm so sorry that this class I missed out. Because that day he did not have any seva. So he is missing. So this is one way we can try of asking him to come and, giving him some seva whereby he will be able to. This is one way of it. This is something which I tried and it was working.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Request, if you go in the Prabhu,
Please.
yeah, louder. I'm having difficulty in
Sure, Prabhuji.
coming very soft.
Sure, Prabhuji. I will try my best, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, is there any other suggestion? Because it's great to give the seva, but it defeats the purpose because the other person is saying, newly initiated devotee is saying that I cannot make it on that time because of the family commitment. So whether give me any service, I won't able to join. So I won't able to do the service at all.
It could also be genuine. What he's saying could also be genuine. So we have to also give him that benefit of doubt. He should force anybody. Now that he has reached a stage where he has got initiated, once initiated means he has to realize his own responsibilities. Otherwise, the person who recommended him to be initiated will be held responsible. This is one thing what Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in one of my discussions, he has told me this, So what happened was, in our group, one of the senior leaders was very strongly recommending somebody to be initiated. So I told Prabhu, I am not very convinced that this person should be initiated. He should be given more time. He said, no, Prabhu, he is very sincere. He does all this service. He is doing all this and we should initiate him. Then finally, I very reluctantly agreed to give him that initiative, to recommend his name, to sign that form. And from the very next day, that guy was quite, he was so irresponsible and he was not even attending the programs. He will come whenever he feel like. He will not come in Vaishnava dress. Suddenly he will come in his jeans and no tilak, nothing. Even if you tell him, at least put the tilak, even if you are in a Karmi dress, doesn't matter, at least put a tilak. He will say, no, how does it make a difference? It has to come from the heart. He used to talk all this. Then I called this Prabhu and told him, look, I told you not to recommend. See, this is the way he is talking. He has not even learned this basic Vaishnava etiquettes. Then this Prabhu felt really bad. He said, yes, Prabhu, I misjudged this person because he was good enough. So sometimes, the person who is recommending somebody for initiation, you have to be extremely careful. So I raised this point with Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, this has happened. Now what happens? This person, I do not know whether he is following, he is committing any apradhas. I don't know what happens. Yes, because once initiated, the karmas go to the Guru. So Guru said that people who are recommending, they have to be careful, otherwise they also share in that. So we have to be very careful about it. The person who is because Guru is simply depending upon the yatra leader and is trusting him. And this amounts to a betrayal of trust. So the yatra leader will have to be extremely careful before he recommends anybody. Otherwise, he gets that karma. It doesn't go up to the guru.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, I'm trying to get to the bottom of the answer here. That the first thing is provide the seva, but if it's a genuine response that the person cannot meet that particular timing, we might not able to do anything. Or as you said, maybe because the person is initiated anyways.
You may have a genuine reason.
Right. Okay, great.
You may have a genuine reason.
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Ramanan, can I, Prabhuji, would like to add up things? Sorry, Prabhuji, you would like to say more?
Yeah.
Before
Prabhuji,
Ramanand starts, there are 3 points I talked of. Ramanand, 1 minute, Ramanand Prabhu. There are 3 points I talked of here. One is that give him that importance and invite him and let him feel that he's important. He's doing a really important service. This one. Second is that he may have a genuine reason and we have to accept that that's a genuine reason. Just like I have my own commitments, I have got my own responsibilities, like that he will also have. So that is the second point. Third is that before we recommend anyone for initiation or shelter or for the second initiation, the yatra leader must be extremely careful.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, to summarize in those 3 points. Hare Krishna. Raman Kani Prabhuji, would you like to please?
Yeah. Prabhuji, see, you mentioned that one has to be very careful in recommending a person for initiation because he also has to, as Guru Maharaj just mentioned, take share of the responsibility. But Prabhu, what happens when we recommend? Because I have a case, a live case, when I recommended that a person for initiation was doing everything is fine, and both Mataji and Prabhu, they were doing a nice seva, but subsequently, he got completely out from the four executive principles, and he got attracted to Maya, and then he completely fell down. Now, what is the role of, because I'm asking this question from the perspective of, you said when we are recommending, we have to be careful. But I was careful and he was genuine. But I didn't know that his background before coming into Krishna consciousness, he had all sorts of habits, but that I was not aware. But when he came into Krishna consciousness, as I saw, he was very sincere, doing all the services and the preaching and everything. Then he reached a stage and wherein I convinced myself that yes, now I can recommend him for initiation. And I recommended and he got initiated, both wife and husband. Now this person, Prabhu, got completely distracted and he fell down. And he came to a situation, even he want to give away his wife and go with some other the relationship what he is established parallelly. Now he's not following four executive principles, he's not doing anything. Now, in this case, whether that responsibility, sharing the responsibility still applies to the person who is recommending?
These are all Ajamela cases. What you're talking of is an Ajamela case, So, what happens here is that I have taken all the necessary precautions to ensure that he is a genuine person who can be recommended for initiation. So, for myself, I have done everything correctly. And even after initiation, he has been doing everything correctly. But later on, after a few years, due to being very unfortunate, he has been diverted from the main path and he has been distracted and goes, nothing can be done in that case. Then you are not responsible. It has happened even with Prabhupada's, there are many of the Prabhupada's disciples also walked off, later on. They did things which they should not do after initiation. They were all initiated only. They also went away, so many. Like that also has happened. So these things can happen. Throughout ISKCON, for all the gurus, they have this experience. All the gurus have this experience. Somebody or the other from the hundreds of disciples whom they have initiated, one or two black sheep or one or two go off the way and do networks. Then you are not responsible. Then the person recommending, he is not responsible. Guru is not responsible. It is his own. He is digging his own grave. We'll have to put it. nobody becomes responsible. Then Guru
Sometimes
also doesn't take any karma for
because sometimes I have that guilt feeling that, okay, because of me, my recommending him, Guru is suffering. That guilt feeling always it is there in the heart.
No, don't worry about it. You should not have a guilt feeling on such matters also. Because if you have guilt feeling, then it will affect your Krishna consciousness also. As long as you are convinced that you have done the right thing, be rest assured that nothing is going. You cannot do anything about it. And Guru will also understand such.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Anybody else with questions?
No, really, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Anand-
All right.
Yes. This is so in this category, Prabhuji, the last question, and then we will move on to the next category. And I think
One
most
person- One person has raised the hand.
Haribo. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sarup Krishna, Prabhuji. Then with pranams. Please, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Swarupa Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad, everybody. See, in such a case, I have heard His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj saying that if somebody breaks the contract, then the responsibility does not lie with the spiritual master. Obviously, like there are many spiritual masters who would not want to leave a devotee, a disciple, and let them go astray. That is point number one, which I thought came to my mind. And point number two, which Vaikunthapati Prabhu so nicely he said that this is Ajamila case. Anyway, we know Nihabhikrama Nashosti. So whatever piety this person would have gathered by being Krishna conscious to a certain extent and getting initiated, maybe later on in this life or some later life, he will get back to Krishna consciousness. So there is a benefit anyway for those sort of individuals who fall down. This is a thought process which comes to my mind. I have some question for His Grace Vaikunthapati Prabhu, because I have learned my Bhakti Vriksha concepts in Bangalore. And my spiritual master, His Holiness Japataka Goswami Maharaj, gave the first time he came for training in 2000, and I also got trained under him. So Bhakti Vriksha is very close to my heart, and we know how you and Mataji evolved this concept of Bhakti Vriksha. Whatever be it, many times we have seen that there are few senior devotees who dissuade you in doing say preaching practice. And while one hand you mentioned about give them responsibility, on the other hand there are situations where you are dissuaded. So in such a situation, how do you look at what a devotee should be doing? What should be the approach of such a devotee who is unable to continue with maybe a particular association, and maybe he has to move away from that association?
I'm not, yeah, sometimes some senior devotee, I don't think they may dissuade you from preaching. Probably some may dissuade you from associating with some persons, but I have not come across any senior devotee dissuading anyone from preaching as such. But that is working against the principles of ISKCON completely. ISKCON's strength is only in preaching, the philosophy. So maybe you would like to just think over what you have said. Have they dissuaded you from preaching activity, or dissuading you from attending a particular Bhakti Vriksha or a particular devotee or something like that?
Prabhuji, I'll tell you, I'll give you, I'll clarify this. See, there
Without
are
naming
two.
persons, yeah.
There are two ways of preaching which I have understood. There is a Namhatta way of preaching, in which one is just delivering and others are listening. And there is a Bhakti Vriksha style of preaching, in which there are small groups and there are it's an interactive sort of
Interactive,
session.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So if somebody is geared towards the Bhakti Vriksha method of preaching, then obviously yeah, there are empowered souls who are also leading the Bhakti Vriksha groups. While in a Namhatta, there are no such empowered, I mean, there is only maybe a few empowered souls, and others are all, whatever may be the level, others are all just listening, on a listening mode. Yes, obviously, Gaudiya Vaishnav concept is to listen and to learn. And throughout one's life, one has to keep listening and keep learning. But many times one would also like to participate in a preaching process, maybe having some small little bit of responsibility and supporting the movement. If somebody is not allowed to do that, then how do you look at these sort of thoughts? And it's happening. It's not that it is not happening. There are many people who profess the Namata style of preaching and who would not be very comfortable with a Bhakti Vriksha style of preaching.
Yeah. Okay. So you will get both the situations. Both are preaching activities only. Namahata preaching, there are some people who are so, Namata is so close to their heart. So they don't view, they cannot adapt themselves to Bhakti Vriksha style of preaching. Similarly, there are many who are so much into Bhakti Vriksha preaching that they cannot adapt to this Namahata preaching. And in the process, what would happen is that the person who is doing this, for example, I'm just saying, for example, Bhakti Vriksha preaching, because he sees so much of value in it, he can say, "Arey, what is the big point in going and attending the Namahata preaching? Do this Bhakti Vriksha for you also." He may say like that. Possible that such a statement. I've heard this statement. So now it becomes clear when you talk about Namahata and Bhakti Vriksha, I'm able to relate to your question because I've gone through this whole thing. Because some people have come and talked to me also about it and said that, why do you want to do Namahata preaching? You should do only Bhakti Vriksha preaching, etc. Guru Maharaj is, since you said Jayapataka Maharaj is your spiritual master, he is the what do you call that? He is in charge of that congregational ministry, congregational preaching ministry. And there he is encouraging both types of preaching. Understand? So both can be done. Sometimes some people may come and tell, some very powerful seniors would come and say, why do you want to do this? You do only this, etc. Now you have to weigh where you stand, because you may be comfortable in Bhakti Vriksha. If you are comfortable in Bhakti Vriksha, do Bhakti Vriksha. But bottom line is preaching. If you are comfortable with Namahata, do Namahata. Because again also there the bottom line is preaching. Do not leave out that preaching aspect. Some people may come and tell this is better, that is better. Here's their personal opinion. And sometimes they become very much passionate about that particular style of. We have to take it up and we have to see what suits me ultimately. Everything, even when you are talking to Bhagavad Gita or anything like that, whatever we are doing in this life, everywhere we are seeing what benefits me, what suits me. This is what I'm looking at each and every step. So here also we should do the same thing. What suits me for my progress in spiritual, in my Krishna consciousness. The Bhakti Vriksha is suiting me, is going to benefit me in my progress in spiritual consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, I will do Bhakti Vriksha. If this Namata is going to help me in progressing further, I should take up now. Both are open for us. Like I don't do Bhakti Vriksha, but I support Bhakti Vriksha. I don't have a problem in anyone doing it. If someone is coming and doing Bhakti Vriksha, I encourage them. They are very good, do it. I cannot do it because I am not trained in that. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so Krishna Prabhuji for asking that question, and thank you Prabhuji for elaborating on the answer. Raman and Kanai Prabhuji, you patiently waited. Could you please?
Yeah, actually, I want to continue from the point where Sarup Krishna Prabhu has made a statement that as per Bhanswami Maharaj, the contract breaks between the spiritual master and the initiated disciple. But if that is the case, if the contract breaks, then I'll go back to a question which I asked Sona Japatak Maharaj, my spiritual master, almost 7-8 years ago. This I shared in this forum some time ago also. While I was in London, in Birmingham Temple, I had an interaction during a program. I asked one question to Guru Maharaj that what happens if some of your disciples breaks the regulative principles and fall down, and what is the message you are going to give to them? It was a general question, not of specific, because that time I didn't have any of such experiences in my circle. It was a general question I asked. So Guru Maharaj is very particular. He said that such people are called Guru Drohi. And he made a statement that they're called killers of Guru. Because of such people, the Gurus are suffering. So my request he made very bold statement. He said, my request to all the disciples of not only my disciples, but also disciples of all the spiritual masters of movement, not to break regulative principles, not to deviate from the instructions of spiritual master, and make them suffer. So my question here comes from the point where Sarup Krishna Prabhu said, break the contract. Once the contract is break, then where is the question of suffering? So if suffering is there, means there is no breakage of contract. So how to understand, how to relate these two?
No, there's a difference between the two. I'll tell you. You are in the movement, you accept him as a spiritual master, you proclaim to the world that he's a spiritual master, and very quietly you are breaking it. And you are causing that problem for the Guru. The other one, the example what you gave was, the guy walked away from the movement totally. He walked away from the movement totally, and everybody knows that he has walked away. That's the difference between the two. There are many who are initiated, who have taken Brahminical initiation. They don't even chant 16 rounds. That's the problem. They are not walked away from the movement. They are still in the movement. There are many this is one of the biggest problems ISKCON is facing, and they are discussing also at very high levels. They are discussing these things, where disciples are coming in, they are taken up the initiation, not very serious about their devotion. They have not understood what is the responsibility as a disciple. In such a situation, the Guru is taking the full responsibility and he is struggling. Because he has believed, he has trusted somebody, and on the advice, on the recommendation of the Yatra leaders. But one who is very openly walking out from this thing and saying, I have nothing to do with ISKCON, I'm walking away. In that case, the contract is total.
But again, that gives a bit of a controversial, this one, the clear definition of walking away. Walking away means stop following the instructions, or declare that I'm no more in ISKCON. So because
everything, he doesn't want to follow the 4 regulative principles, he doesn't want to chant, he wants to lead a materialistic life completely. And he goes on. You have got people like that also. Don't think there are not devotees who have walked out. There are many who have walked out of ISKCON. Probably you would have heard also, not that you would not have heard.
Yeah, even I'm hearing, even now, as we speak, so many things are happening. The great Maharajas are also like, I do not go into that, but still it's happening. Still it's happening, yes.
So that is why we have to realize our own responsibilities, and we have to be. Yeah, one more Prabhu has raised the hand. Veer Krishna Das.
Be Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Glad that
Prabhuji.
it is generating some good. Veer Krishna Prabhu, you are the singer, right? You are the Indra Das of this group.
Prabhuji, when I joined Indian Oil Mathura Refinery in 2000, so there I used to hear him in the Vrindavan temple. And I came to ISKCON by hearing the kirtan from Indra Prabhu only.
Yeah. So this is exactly what in the beginning I said. Not I don't know whether I said here or I don't remember. Something I said that not able people have got different flavors. Some people get attracted by lectures, some people get attracted by the kirtan, some people get attracted by the seva, what they have to do. Some may be very good in cooking. If they get that seva, they will come and give their life for doing that only. Some people are very public relations people. They talk nicely with everybody and they want to build up that network, all those things. They come for networking. But then gradually they become devotees also. Yeah, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, my question is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Namai Bhaktya Pranashyanti. My devotee never perishes. And also 9.30, that Apiche Sudaracharo, even a devotee accidentally falls down due to Maya. Maya is very powerful and does most abominable action. Still he can be considered as saintly person. So that is why even if some by chance accidentally falls down, so Krishna has already told that there is no failure, he will again come back. So if he starts again the devotional service. So I think still we should consider him and show sympathy and whatever feeling we have, we should have some feeling. It is my opinion.
Correct. You are absolutely right. And this is where we as ISKCON fail. When somebody has fallen down, everyone tries to avoid that person. We should never do that. When somebody falls down and we avoid that person feels left out. We should not do that. We should try to maintain that contact with them and see how we can bring him back into the mind. Our Guru Maharaj has been trying to do. He has been expressing this also. Ramananda Kanai Prabhu, just for your information, you will be aware probably. He has said there are many who have fallen down. Let us see how we can bring them back into the movement. So that's a really very important for that we should do. Because we talk so much of relationship, we talk so much of care, everything. But if someone falls down, everybody is trying to shun him. Am I right or not? Does it happen or no? We should never do that. Then let us try to build up that real good relationship with him and show him, yes, we stand by your side, don't worry. It's a temporary fall down. Anybody can fall down. You will also come back into the world. And encourage him to chant, encourage him to do so many things. Yeah.
This is applicable for accidental fall down, or he is consciously accepting the sense gratification, consciously breaking the regulative principles. So, because the 9.30 verse what Prabhu has quoted is accidental fall down, but people take advantage of that accident, the sloka 9.30, and continue to do that. He says, okay, no problem. Krishna already gave one chance, one excuse. So I'll continuously, accidentally keep following down. You please accept me as a saint. So then the whole the purpose is deceived, Prabhu. Then that gives a wrong signals to the people. How can we preach to people when everybody see that this kind of personalities exist? Continue to say that accidental fall down. So continue to accept me as a saint. So how can we accept this, Prabhu? Because this gives a completely wrong signals to the preachers and also the new public whom we are trying to preach.
It's an accidental fall down. That's what Apichet Sudaracharo Bhajate Mamaneva. So that is an accidental fall down. And that's why Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. And in that connection, it says Name Bhakta Pranishit. That's what it says. In that context. But there are two aspects, what you said. Yes, in this temporary fall down, we have to definitely maintain our relationship with that person. But if we find that even if he has really fallen down and he wants to go out of the movement or he's doing something totally different.
He don't want to change. He don't want to change.
Yeah, even there the attempts are made. You know, one of the very senior Maharajas, there was a fall down. Jayapataka Swami Maharaj went and spent several days with him. And other Maharajas also went and spent several days with him to bring him back into the movement. But he didn't. He couldn't. Then they said, all right, okay, doesn't matter. These things happen, but then the attempts should be made. And gradually we'll know whether these are, but they don't break the relationship. We don't, the Maharajas, they haven't broken the relationship. They've made that full effort to bring him back. Ultimately, I'm again telling you that relationship we have to maintain with him. Much of it depends upon the relationship.
In the process of maintaining the relationship, even of such fall down, so we also may get attracted to such.
No. That you should not
Because
be.
Maya is so strong. Endlessly, oh Prabhu, okay, Prabhu, no problem. You do your activity, but still, no, come for this, no, come for prasadam, and I'll come associating with you. I want to give your association. Finally, instead of giving our association, we take his association and we also fall down.
No. It will never happen. It will never happen like. We should be. See, we have to be very careful. There is a difference. These are the people who have been in the movement. You know, for unfortunately, they have fallen down. So we should have that sympathy. We show sympathy on so many other things. So why not to person who has been with us, who has been really a good devotee? And remember one thing, Prabhupada has said, once you are a devotee, you are always a devotee. You may fall down, you may go, but again you will come back. Once you have chanted the names of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you will come back. If not now, later on you will come back. So, but then we have to give them that comfort feel. Everywhere it is a comfort feel, you know, that is required. And that comes only when we are in our good relationship.
Hare
Radhapati Krishnadas Prabhu, so nice to see you after a long time. How are you?
Good, very good. I'm happy to see you also, Prabhu. Very nice, wonderful, blissful. I have one question.
Very recently, Mahavara and myself, we were talking about you.
Oh, very well. Very well. Okay.
Just about 2 months back. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So I have one question in relation to the same topic. We say Guru, when the Guru is suffering because of disciples' sins and all that, but Guru is initiating on behalf of his Guru and in the parampara. So the sin should be ultimately going accepted by Krishna by the parampara. Why is Guru suffering?
No, it's not like that. He is a living Guru. So he is accepting the disciples, and he is a living Guru at that time, you see. So somewhere the whole thing has to take place. Once the karmas are hitting somebody, the karmas are going to have a reaction. You know, but again, what happens is because of Guru's purity, much of the karma is getting burnt out already at his level itself. It's not necessary that it has to go right up to the top. No need. Because at Guru's level itself, thousands of karmas are getting burnt out, you know, every minute. Let me put it every minute or every second. So that much of power Guru's, the purity has got, you know, to burn out the karmas. But sometimes it can be overwhelming and it hits him like a tsunami. That time the Guru goes through a sort of a difficulty or through a problem. That is why we have to be extremely careful as disciples not to commit any aparadhas. Not to commit any Vaishnava aparadha, not to commit, not to break the 4 regulative principles, to make sure that we chant our 16 rounds regularly. These are the promises that we are given to Guru, you know, and we have to keep it. And that will help our Guru and us.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Perfect answer. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the question, Prabhuji, and thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the answer. Prabhuji, we only have 6 minutes left. So the third and the last category for the questions That's where most of the devotees here in the congregation falls, which is been there for most of the time in Krishna consciousness, already preaching, already doing a lot of services, and yet either they don't find the time to come and attend the sessions, and those who come and attend the sessions, they are not inspired and motivated enough to take the services. So for example, this, because this is a virtual, so services are to do the regular lessons, regular sessions.
Can you just put it in a brief, your question? You say there are many disciples who don't
Yes,
feel
Prabhuji.
required
Sure.
to.
So Ramanand Prabhuji started this group nicely, Chaitanya Charitamrita study group, and this goes for a while. After a while, he realized that other devotees should also get the opportunity to deliver the sessions. So he has given the responsibility and the seva to Nitya Nasimha Prabhuji, who contacts all the devotees that will you deliver a session on the selected verses next week or next month. But he finds very hard for the devotees to raise hand and confirm that, yes, I will do it. A lot of devotees, I guess, they reply back that we don't have time, or maybe we are not such a senior enlightened being, so we cannot come and give the session.
That we are not qualified to, still we are not qualified to preach.
Not qualified, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
that I put it as a point. No? In the last class, I said that many people feel that I'm not qualified to talk, so I won't talk. That will be happen. So, Prabhuji, what you can do is the subject matters what you choose for the people, you can also think of. For example, when I wanted to encourage some people to talk, they were refusing to talk. They are saying that no, we are not qualified to talk. We are not pure enough. We are not. So they used to say all this. So what I did, I asked them to talk on Ekadashi, because Ekadashi is a story. They know that. It's easy. So they started talking on Ekadashi. So 2-3 Ekadashis they have talked. Then they get some sort of confidence. Yes, I am also able to talk. And, they talk in Ekadashi and everybody is very appreciative. Yeah, you talk always. It comes. Then gave them some little bit of Bhagavad Gita to talk on. So talk where they are. I gave them, and they were willing to do that. Like that. Small topics, when you start encouraging them to talk, they will do it. But you can also get initiated devotees. So I talked on Bhagavad Gita, and they have talked on Ekadashi, they have talked on Bhagavad Gita, etc. Bhagavatam also they talk. But when it comes to Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are really skeptical. What will I talk? Will I be able to talk? This can happen. Because Prabhupada has said Chaitanya Charitamrita is like a PhD course. Yes, sir. Now, who is doing his graduation, if he's asking him to do a PhD discussion, probably will have difficulty. So, what subject come to preach, that also matters.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It might be a bit hard to. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. 2 minutes left. And if there is anything, Prabhuji, you would like to conclude. And
I just want to get Ramananda's views on what I said.
Yes, Prabhu, yes, I agree with you. But that is in general, what you said is true. But the point here, what we are discussing is there are devotees, major 90-95% of group members are all preachers, are all initiated, and they're regularly preaching, attending for decades. And they have been preaching even Chaitanya Charitamrita also in the past. And they have the experience, they have caliber, capabilities, qualification, everything is there. But for some reason, they are just stepping back. So the problem lies there. It is not that we are trying to give to someone who is not qualified enough. They are saying I'm not qualified. Maybe that is one of the reason for them to, one of the excuse, I can say, one of the excuse what they are saying. But may not be, or it's not really true that they're not qualified enough. Maybe that shows a humility also. But
No, maybe they are not very confident. It could be that, on talking on this subject matter. Could it be happen? That be the reason. And you have to analyze the reason, what it is. Maybe you have to, they may or may not open up also. Even if I'm not qualified, I may not want to tell you that I'm not qualified. I do not know the subject matter, but how to tell you that I do not know the subject matter? I've been in the movement for the last 30 years. How can I say that I do not know the subject matter? So it becomes a real, I'm in a catch-22 situation myself. So what do I confess it? So I come up with some excuses. I'm just thinking of a possibility. Yeah? I'm not saying that would be the reason. But still we should ask them, when will you be, tell me when would you like to give a class? We will fix it up accordingly. That's what we want.
thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So in the
Somebody has
close,
raised their hand.
somebody
Nitya
raised
Narasimha
their
Prabhu.
hand.
Well, he's
Nitya
a
Narasimha, Prabhuji.
coordinator,
Please.
so he knows the pulse of people who are refusing to, as he's coordinating on behalf of me, the devotees to
Yeah.
question them to preach.
Yes,
Suresh Prabhu, you are the
Hare
right person
Krishna.
to.
Prabhuji, thank you very much for your enlightening class. What I observed is your mood is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood. You are very compassionate for all the situations. That's what I observed. And really bestow your mercy so that we can really follow your guidelines and footsteps. Hare Krishna. That's what I want to convey.
When you say that my mood is like Chaitanya, I have to immediately close my ears. Nowhere near, not even close to the dust on the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So far away from that. Anyway, so good that if you are feeling that you have benefited out of this, I'm very thankful for that. It's all mercy of blessings of the senior Vaishnavas, Guru Parampara, everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one thing which you said initially, and please take this with a pinch of salt, and forgive me if I'm stepping the line. But in very first thing when you started today's session, you said, thank you for bearing with me for all the nonsense I speak or spoke. Then Prabhuji, wow. It could be my misunderstanding, but I understood that whatever you spoke, and that's what usually devotees do, is just to repeat the words of previous acharyas and from the scriptures. So how could it be nonsense?
Well, I would like to answer on Prabhu's behalf, because this is a bit of a question which puts people in kind of fix what to say. But I would like to answer Prabhu's behalf. Then Prabhu can add. I can only say that it is not that Prabhu has really spoken nonsense. That we have to accept it as Prabhu's humility. Because Prabhu is okay, I did a great job, so you should thank me. So that is not the mood of Prabhu. Prabhu is always humble. I've been seeing Prabhu for a very long time now. And Prabhu actually started his KC career in Mathura Desh, then moved to Krishnakatha Desh, so I know him for a very long time. More than 2 decades since my interaction with Prabhu. So that only shows the humility. It is not that Prabhu has really spoken nonsense. But when he said that out of humility, genuine humility, Prabhu is expressing that. That is my.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And that's the reason I asked the question, because I know this is going to be the answer. And I want
Prabhu will not say, Prabhu will not tell. I am very humble. So I told this. Prabhu will say, yes, I spoke nonsense only. That's why I don't know Prabhu to answer this. So I answered on Prabhu's behalf.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, Prabhuji, the hidden question here is, that a lot of the time devotees do, I'm not referring to you in any ways, but a lot of time devotees do or don't do things just under the umbrella of keeping themselves being humble. Just because somebody else or the Shastra says they're humble, maybe Rupa Goswamiji, Sanatan Goswamiji, Jiva Goswamiji used to do these things. So we try to imitate and we call ourselves humble. And that's the reason I asked this question, Prabhuji. So if you can enlighten us on that place, where to be humble and where might not be crucial to be humble.
Yeah. So let's take the, I'm just giving an analogy. Okay. Now, when we start our chanting, we do it as a matter of routine. We do that gradually. Over a period of time, we realize the importance of it and we try to focus our mind on that and get into that Shuddhanam stage we reach. From Namaprada to Namabhyas to Shuddhanam stage. But when we started it, how was it? The force we were putting on ourselves to do it. Okay. Many times unwilling, but still doing it. All these things will. Gradually it becomes a habit and then we start doing it. Similarly, I believe, I may be wrong, but what I believe is that, yes, in initial stage, probably I'm not humble, but at least I try to become conscious that I'm not humble. As the first stage, Then I push myself to be humble voluntarily. I push myself. Let me be humble. And I try to become humble. But still the streaks of ego and streaks of arrogance comes up. Later on, it becomes a part of me to be. That's a very high stage. That's what we all should aim for. But it comes by doing all these things, not committing any Vaishnava Aparadha, following the principles, being conscious that I should not hurt anyone. So when I start doing that, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu. It comes through, So that samas sarveshu bhuteshu, I'm not talking those very high level of samas sarveshu bhuteshu, but at least amongst the devotees, I look all the devotees as the same in whatever it is. I try to be really good to everyone and try to be helping everyone. And even someone is committing an aparadh or someone is saying something which offends me, trying to bear with it and accepting, yes, maybe it's my karma, past karma, which is hitting me now. Or somewhere I must have hurt him. That's why he's hurting me back now. When you start getting this realization, then that genuine humbleness, humility also comes. This is what I believe. You have got some learned people in this forum who may be able to throw more light on this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You summarized it so nicely and clarified it for everyone's benefit. Thank you so much. On behalf of the whole group, Prabhuji, I would like to say Danvat Pranams to you. Thank you so much, not only once,
Can we
but
put
taking
it on
your time out.
Can we put it on a gallery view so that I can see everybody?
Yes, Prabhuji, on the top where it says...
Yeah, I've done it. I put it already on gallery view, but many of them are closed.
Well, Prabhuji, what shall I say? This is the problem we have it.
Okay, all right. So nice seeing all of you. Thank you very much to everyone for giving me this opportunity to interact with you, to associate with you, and seek everyone's blessings to progress in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Vancha kalpatarvyacha kripa sudhubhyacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo.
Namo Namah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a nice class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Vaikunthapati Prabhu, for your taking out your very precious time. I know every week Prabhu is very busy in the preaching, and Prabhu has agreed to show his mercy upon us. It is really that we are very fortunate for this. And we should not take Prabhu's association as granted. Prabhu has given a lot of valuable inputs, valuable practical tips. Prabhu is always, I consider Vaikunth Prabhu as Prabhu is a master of back to basics. I attended a couple of programs by Prabhu when I was in Mathura, Krishna Katha Desh. Prabhu came back from India and he conducted in Dharmalaya back to basics program that still it is there in my mind. So because as we progress in Krishna consciousness, we feel that, oh, become a senior devotee, I've become 2 decades, 3 decades, I'm into Krishna consciousness, I learned, I know everything. But we tend to forget the basics. So Prabhu is always a master. He says that no, roots are very important. You have basics to be very strong. So this always Prabhu used to stress, and I like this quality of Prabhu that no, as we progress, we have to be more humble and be stick to our basics. Never forget our basics, so that because our whole movement, ISKCON movement is the preaching movement. So unless we are strong enough in our basics, we cannot be talking only superficially. So we have to be strong in the basics, and then the preaching becomes more effective. And as I heard one statement from Srila Prabhupada that every follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is capable of delivering the whole universe. So see the very strong statement by Srila Prabhupada that every follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is capable of delivering the whole universe. So that is what Srila Prabhupada wants. And Srila Prabhupada is the best example for that. We are trying to follow his footsteps. Prabhupada is the best example, and he wants us to take up the responsibility of preaching on our shoulders and take this movement forward. Because as time progresses, many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples are disappearing from this material planet, Earth planet, and it is our responsibility as the future leaders, the future preachers, to take this responsibility on our shoulders and go forward. For that, we need to be strong enough. We need to be basics. We should be very strong so that we can start preaching. Preaching is the most important. That's why when Prabhu said topical preachers, I happily accepted, and Prabhu's requested Prabhu to please give this presentation. And thank you so much, Vaikunth Prabhu. You are so nectarian, wonderful practical tips you gave to us this 2 weeks. And we really look forward to have your association in coming weeks. A different topic. I know you have a lot of astras and shastras in your kitty to give to us, and we look forward to have your association and take benefit of the astras what you carry. Thank you so much once again.
Definitely, Prabhu. Definitely. And in fact, I would also like to come to Mathura Desh once and meet all the devotees also physically.
Great.
Like to meet, that will be great to meet and then to spend some time with all of you and take your blessings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. We'll discuss with our yatra and we'll come back to
you. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna to all of you.
Prabhu.
Wish you a happy Krishna consciousness, happy Gita